friends, let's talk about a new jumbo cue card. So in this video, I will be talking about jumbo cue card, that is 10 in 1. 10 in 1 means you can cover all these 10 cue cards in just one response. So that's going to help you to remember the stories, to remember the main ideas, and in fact, you can speak nicely and confidently. Okay, so let's see which cue card we are going to cover today. So the first topic we have is an interesting neighbor. You need to talk about a neighbor, and at the same time you need to mention that why he or she is interesting. The second is an introvert person you know. Introvert person means a person who doesn't speak much and who would like to live alone most of the time. He doesn't like to make so many friends. So introvert people generally have just a couple of friends, not more than that. Third we have is talk about someone older than you whom you admire. So someone who is older than you and at the same time you admire him or her. Okay, so obviously these three would be the one person we are going to talk about. Someone who is my neighbor, introvert person, and at the same time I admire her as well. Then the next we have is a long walk you ever had. Where did you go for walk, with whom, and how, like what all you discussed on that walk. Then the next one is talk about something that helps you concentrate. So what is that activity that help you concentrate? How do you do it and all? Fifth is an activity you do to keep fit. So activity to keep yourself fit. Then a difficult thing you did. A skill that was difficult for you to learn. So something that was difficult for you to learn, what difficulties you face and how did you finally learn all these things. Then a skill that you can teach other people. Skill, now you are expert in something and you can teach other people the same. And the last is a plan in your life that is not related to work or study. So I have taken these cue cards, and in storyline also I'll be answering all these cue cards in sequence. So that will help you to correlate the story later and keep it in mind. Okay. So we are going to start with an introduction. Introduction is like meeting new people always opens new doors of opportunities, as we can gain significant amount of knowledge and experience multifarious cultures. Since we are talking about people in 3-4 topics, so I'm just going to take this introduction. This introduction can be used in 3-4 topics wherein we are talking about people. So meeting new people always opens new doors of opportunities. Opportunities for what? We can gain significant amount of knowledge. Significant means quite a lot. So we can get a lot of knowledge. Get a lot of knowledge means gain significant amount of knowledge and experience multifarious cultures. Multifarious means various, different. Okay, so if these people are of different background, different cultural background, so we can learn different cultures by meeting them. Okay, so this is an introduction. Now from the first topic, last September I relocated to Delhi due to some official projects. So relocated means shifted. When we move from one place to another place, that is relocated. So I relocated to Delhi due to some official projects, and I rented an apartment over there. Over there means in that city. Being new in that metro city, so Delhi is a metro city or is a metropolitan city. So being new in that metro city, I thought of contacting one of my neighbors in order to seek some useful information. Okay, so this generally happens when you meet and when you visit or when you move to a new town. You would like to know more about the place, you would like to know more about the neighborhood area. So you'll get to know like from where you can catch a bus, from where you can buy your groceries, then what are the recreational centers nearby. So in order to say, since I was all alone over there, so I thought of contacting my neighbor in order to get some valuable information. Valuable information, seek means to take some information. So I came in contact, or I came in touch with Mrs. Sharma. So who is that lady, or who is the person we are going to talk about? We are talking about Mrs. Sharma, who was in her early 40s. So early 40s means when we talk about a person who is somewhere like 40, 41, 42, 43. So somewhere between 40 and 43. 40, 41, 42, 43 means early 40s. So obviously she is older than me, and we are going to cover the same, someone older than you. So in her early 40s, So when I came in contact with her just to ask questions, like to know more about the surrounding area, surprisingly she answered all of my questions in 1 to 2 words. So whatever I was asking, she was answering. No doubt she was polite in answering everything, and she wasn't hesitant, or she wasn't rude or arrogant at that time. Very politely, in a very calm and composed manner, she answered all of my questions. But the point was, she answered all my questions in just a couple of words that I didn't expect. It made me feel uncomfortable, since I was expecting a kind of long conversation. Basically, I belong to a small town, or might be a small village, wherein people are quite friendly, sociable, they have a lot of time to help each other. But over there, my experience was something different with her. So I feel uncomfortable. It made me feel uncomfortable about city life. I thought might be like, right? I became judgmental. I thought people in city are the same, and started a chain of thoughts filled with anxiety and fear. So after that meeting with her, I had many weird thoughts in my mind, and all these thoughts were filled with anxiety and fear. So I was a little scared, I was a little afraid in that new city. But gradually means slowly, as the days passed on, I tried to overcome all of such feelings. Okay, so I started feeling comfortable. Anyhow, I had to be there, since it was my official project. So obviously I had to be there, right? So I tried to overcome means get over it, or reduce these kind of thoughts. However, one day she invited me for her son's birthday party. So obviously she was my neighbor, Mrs. Sharma, and it was her son's birthday party. So just for the sake of courtesy, she invited me. And I didn't want to lose any chance, because I was having no one else around me to talk to spend my evenings. And also I thought that I should grab this opportunity. I get a chance to see her husband, her child, and in that way I can make a few friends in my neighborhood. So when I visited that party, there I realized that she is an extrovert lady. So she's an introvert lady. So introvert means who doesn't speak much, who doesn't have so many friends, who would like to keep to himself or herself, and that was she. So she was an introvert lady, as in the party also there were only a few people who were invited. Okay, so there were only a few people who were invited. She arranged everything in an apple pie order. So in an apple pie order means everything in that party in her home was very nicely organized. So when you see something is nicely organized, means is an apple pie order. And on that day I became a fan of her culinary skills. Culinary skills means cooking. I found her to be an excellent cook. I found her to be a expert cook, because whatever the food items she prepared in the party, so that were awesome, fascinating might be. So culinary skills, I became a fan of her culinary skills, as the cuisines were homemade. Cuisines means delicacies, food items. So food items, delicacies, dishes, cuisines. So whatever she served in the party, everything was homemade and finger licking. So it was a sumptuous meal I enjoyed at her place. Okay, so this was about the party, and I get to know obviously she was an introvert person. Why? Because now I realized how she behaved me like this in a very weird situation in the very first meeting. Why? Because she is an introvert. She doesn't like to talk much, especially to the strangers. Okay, so after that, anyhow, like we started meeting quite often. After a month or so, she started feeling comfortable to talk to me, and I get an opportunity to know more about her and her family. One pleasant evening, pleasant means the weather was pleasant, it just stopped raining, so there was a cool breeze blowing on. So one pleasant evening, I requested her to go out for a walk with me, and she agreed. Now here on I'll be talking more about a long walk. So by this we discussed about an old lady or someone older than you admire. So someone older than you is my neighbor, and she's quite polite, though she is an introvert, but she's expert in cooking. She manages everything in a very well and nice manner. She doesn't get angry, all such things. Later on also we will be talking more about her, but however this is the introduction that you can cover in these topics. Now about the walk. So since I requested and she agreed, we went out for a walk in the nearby park. During the walk, she shared her life experiences with me, and obviously the life experiences, like others, her experience were also full of joys and sorrows. Okay, so when I told her about my stressful life due to that new project, she suggested me to try meditation. So since we were walking and we were discussing so many things about our day-to-day life and about our past, she was sharing her own experiences, and when I got my turn, I also started telling her like what is being happening in my life, and I told that how I have been feeling quite stressed because of the project and all. Okay, and then she suggested me to try meditation. Initially I was reluctant to talk more about it. Initially means in the beginning. Okay, in the beginning when we were talking about meditation, I was reluctant. Reluctant means not interested or hesitant. So I was hesitant, or I wasn't interested to talk more about it. However, she kindled my interest in the same. Kindled means awaken. Okay, so she told me so many stories. She told me what are the benefits of meditation and how I should do it, and also by her pep talk. Pep talk is like talk full of encouragement. By her pep talk, she kindled my interest in the same, in the meditation. She shared that her whole family meditate every day in the morning and evening. So I was quite surprised. At the same time, I was very happy also to get to know about that. There is a family nearby. There is a family living in my neighborhood and who meditate every day. So that was such a surprising news for me. I promised her to start doing it and requested to guide me. So I promised, okay, I'll be doing it. At the same time, I requested if she can guide me like teach me how to do it and all. So like after having all these conversations and all, we didn't realize that it has been quite long. We have been walking, and by that time we have already been like walking for 1.5 hours. So after spending 1.5 hours on walk, we finally returned home. So it was a long walk. Why? Because we walked for 1.5 hours, and in that 1.5 hours we actually covered 4 or 5 kilometers distance. So the weather was quite pleasant, it was favorable, so we didn't feel tired, and at the same time the conversation that we were having was quite engaging. And after that entire conversation, I found her quite interesting. Though she was an introvert lady, but at the same time she is full of experience, she is full of life, and she was quite interesting as well. And from that day onwards, I started admiring her. I became a great fan. Initially I became a fan of her cooking, but now I became a fan of her personality as well. So I became more respectful towards her on that day. Respectful, why? Because she was insisting me to practice meditation. It means she cared for me. So the love, the affection, the care she showed towards a person, a neighbor, was really mind-blowing. So I started respecting her more on that day. So next morning onwards, I started to meditate. As I promised, right, I'll be starting. So I started to meditate. She and her husband were there to guide me nicely. Now what I did, I sat quietly and closed my eyes and did nothing for a minute. This is what we generally do. We sit quietly on a nice, like on a floor, might be on a mat. We try to close our eyes and think nothing for a minute. I was told to focus on my breathing and didn't think anything. Okay, so it always happens when somebody says you not to think, you'll start having all that wild thoughts in your mind. So the same happened. It was extremely difficult for me to not think anything, since I was told not to think anything. So I was having, all that random thoughts in my mind, and that was unstoppable. So it was extremely difficult, or I must say it was an arduous task for me. Arduous task means something which is very difficult. So it became an arduous task for me not to think anything. I didn't know how and from where I had endless thoughts in mind. So endless means one after another. Okay, I almost gave up after the first day. Gave up means surrendered. I said no, I won't be doing it anymore, because I think I'm really bad in that and I can't do it, right? So I almost gave up after the first day, considering, thinking. So what I thought, that I'm good for nothing, okay, or it's not my cup of tea. It's not my cup of tea means it is not something I meant for. Then both of them motivated me. They didn't give up actually, but they didn't. So both of them, they motivated me a lot and explained that it was natural to overthink. So they told me, they guided me that it is a natural process. Anybody who is going to start meditation for the very first day, so the same thing happens with them. So it was natural to overthink initially. I started practicing on daily basis. So I believed on them and I started practicing on the daily basis, sometimes under their supervision or alone. After 3 months of dedication, I was doing it religiously. Religiously means without even skipping a day. So I started doing it on the daily basis with full of dedication, having that positive vibrations in mind that soon I'll be learning it nicely. I realized noticeable difference. Noticeable means significant. So when I started doing it every day, and in fact after 3 months, I found a tremendous, a noticeable or a significant difference in myself as I was able to meditate successfully. Now what benefits I got? Meditation helped me perform better at work. So the very first is performed better at work, since I was really undergoing stressful situations. So it helped me felt relieved. Perform better at work, increased my focus and attention. So because of that increased focus and attention, I was able to complete my task, my daily task in lesser time with more accuracy. It helped me clear my mind and focus on the present moment. So instead of having so many random thoughts, it helped me focus on the present moment, so that whatever I was doing, I could do it with a lot of focus, accuracy and expertise. And meditation, like, it gave me a huge productivity boost. I started working quite nicely and my performance improved tremendously. And at the same time, it promoted overall happiness, changed my appearance by making me glow inside and out. Okay, so this is how that was a difficult skill, difficult thing for me to learn, meditation. It was extremely difficult for me, but at the same time, it helps me concentrate. It helps me keeping myself fit, because if my mind is stable, if I'm able to focus on my work, I can manage my time efficiently and I can spare some extra time for my physical activities also. I started keeping a watch on my diet, what I used to be taking. In that way, I could keep myself mentally and physically fit. Okay, so after experiencing the benefits of meditation by myself, I'm confident enough to teach this skill to others. Which skill? I'm talking about meditation. So meditation is a skill that can be learned, that can be taught. So now I became confident, okay, I should be teaching these skills to others. Stress and anxiety level. So if I talk about what is happening in the contemporary era. In the contemporary era means nowadays, these days. These days, stress and anxiety is at peak, is at high level among people. So people, they are quite stressed, they are full of anxiety nowadays due to their lifestyle, due to their work culture. So I think I should guide people to get rid of it. Get rid of it, how they can escape from this, how they can ventilate their stress. My personal experience would become an inspiration for them because I myself have realized it quite closely, okay, and I can guide people nicely as well. In fact, I have made a plan now to start online sessions for people who are willing to learn. So people who are interested to learn meditation, now I have this plan. So this plan is not related to my work or my study. It is just for the help of humankind. So I have made this plan to provide online sessions for meditation for the people who are willing to learn, however they are unable to do for any reason. Might be they cannot step out of their house, might be they feel hesitation, they are not able to discuss their problem with anybody, okay, but yes, during that online sessions they can connect with me and they can also learn and improve their life. I would make groups on social media platforms. So how I will be doing it? So these days, if you want to do something new, if you want to aware people about, so the best platform is the social media. So I will create groups on social media platforms like WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter to create awareness among people. And at the same time, I can train them step by step. I can tell them about everything the same I experienced. Initially, you might have a feeling of giving it up. You might feel it is good for, you are good for nothing, you can't do it and all. But then I'll keep pushing them to stick to it and to keep doing it on the regular basis. And I trust this small initiative of mine. Initiative means something new that I have started or I will be going to start. So this small initiative of mine would bring tremendous change in their life. Tremendous means a big change, a huge change. So the same that I have realized for myself, all these people also would realize the same in their life. They can get rid of stress, they feel quite calm, composed, they can focus on their work, they can increase their productivity and everything. Okay. So now I hope all these 10 topics are clear to you and you can correlate it with the storyline and accordingly you can speak. If you still have any doubt, you can write it down there in the comment section. But if you like this video, don't forget to hit that like button and comment it there, share it with your friends. Keep learning with me. All the best.